From the quiet morning mist, the king cobra slithered out with power, while the porcupine stepped out of the forest shadows with caution. And in the moment their eyes met in the damp mud, nature held its breath, waiting for the confrontation that was about to erupt. From vicious sideways lunges to consecutive counterattacks, the snake and hedgehog spun around in the wet mud at lightning speed. 6 consecutive impacts rang out like hammers, pushing the battle from tense to explosive. Amidst the suffocating squeeze and the continuous pecks, the porcupine turned and unleashed its spines so fiercely that the snake collapsed back in the mud. And as the porcupine slowly walked away, leaving deep footprints, the forest gradually returned to the silence of the survivor. In the quiet morning, a snake's shadow crept through the dry grass, its tongue flicking as if measuring the wind. But from above, the ruler of the sky had already noticed. The moment their eyes met, the steppe seemed to hold its breath before the storm of instinct that was about to erupt. Fangs and claws clashed in the blazing sunlight. Every kick, every peck was an uncompromising challenge. Dust flew, light swirled around the two predators, neither willing to back down in a fierce dance of survival between the parched earth and sky. The battle reached its climax. The final collision exploded in light and dust. When the dust cleared, only heavy breathing and silence prevailed. Nature closed in. Between the damp mist and the sunlight filtering through the canopy, the green forest seemed to hold its breath. The giant Komodo stepped out from the shadows, each step heavy, exuding a primal power. But in the dark roots of the tree, the shadow of a giant python moved, signaling the inevitable encounter. The attack echoed like thunder in the forest. Komodo bit hard. Python twisted in response. Mud flew, roots cracked. Both of their breaths mingled with the hot mist. This was not just a battle, but a clash of force and pure instinct of nature. The python dragged Komodo through the wet jungle mud, squeezing with its last gasps. But the giant rose, claws lashing out in fury, butting its opponent to the ground. When the dust settled, Komodo stood in the jungle light, the sole survivor of the brutal fight. The morning mist was thick in the deep forest. Rays of sunlight filtered through the foliage and shone on vigilant eyes. There, a small predator awaited its fate as the shadow of the Snake King slithered out from the darkness. Speed, instinct, and determination, the mongoose lunged at every blow, avoiding every fatal blow. The king cobra twisted its body in response, each movement a knife edge gliding across the line between life and death. After the fierce blows, both stopped in the heavy breath of Amidst the quiet dawn of the steppe, the atmosphere suddenly became tense as the cobra bared its neck, signaling a challenge to the strong in the sky. And then the shadow of the eagle swooped down, opening the door to a fierce confrontation between earth and sky. Dust flew everywhere. The fan blades were in disarray. The snake's body was twisting. Each peck and each swipe carried the weight of survival instinct. The two rushed into each other in a dance of speed, where the slightest mistake could cost them their lives. The final sweep of its wings tore through the air, ending the fierce battle. The snake retreated into the grass, while the eagle stood tall in the golden sunlight, a symbol Cobra launched a series of lightning-fast counterattacks, but the secretary bird dodged flexibly, spinning kicks, pecking hard at the snake's body and head, grass and bushes swirling up with each fierce collision, creating a wild and breathtaking battle. The secretary bird swooped down from the sky, pecking repeatedly and suppressing the cobra. Each successive attack exhausted the snake, forcing it to retreat, returning silence to the golden grassland in the afternoon light.